So we are trying a bit of a new setup here. Things sound a little bit different. There's a pillow behind the microphone to try and negate the echo, but I am actually not coming to you live from Vancouver, British Columbia. I'm out and about elsewhere here in the US of A. San Fran, baby, and coming to you live from a hotel room. We are making this audio commentary to talk about some Canadian stuff, because while it's true that the Four Nations tournament will be kicking off today, February 12th, 2025, I unfortunately will not be super active in watching the games. It's just not really on my radar for the week. We'll try to make some videos. We'll try to go out there with some commentaries on things that happen and some news points as well. But content throughout the next few days, as the rest of the NHL has gone out there and taken itself a break, I am taking a break too because I very much needed one. Thank you very much for asking. But in this video, what we're doing is talking about some of the comments made and the discourse surrounding Montreal Canadiens star forward Patrik Laine from yesterday. Now, to be clear, I'm actually recording this audio on the night of Tuesday, February 11th, but I feel that this story and these comments and the discourse surrounding this situation that came afterwards, it's a strong enough topic on its own to go out there and talk about. So if there are so many extra things that are said between the time I'm speaking into this microphone and the time this video is public on YouTube, maybe sometime tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. PST, something like that, then I apologize. Of course, this is just a talk about the situation. But heading into today's commentary about Patty Laine, we had ourselves some extra comments made by the guy himself that might have just made things worse. I think Patrik Laine just threw some subtle shade here, I don't know. And you're free to go out there and say, Lego, this is you being the toxic YouTuber that you are, going full clickbait mode even on your vacation. And while that is true, to a pretty reasonable extent, I'm not gonna lie, I do think these comments were big enough to talk about, especially when you consider the Montreal Canadiens fans' reactions to them. I'd seen a lot of people over the past 12 hours or so really digging into these comments, and I wanted to go out there and give my 2 cents. So, as always, this show is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Go out there and check out the first link in the description to save some money on your VPN, get some free months, and support this YouTube channel all in the process. But Patrik Laine has been in a really difficult spot the past few weeks. He has really fallen off in terms of his offensive productivity. He is no longer scoring a goal a game like he was earlier in the season. And sure, there already were some warts and low periods for Laine, even when he was producing goals. I get it that a lot of people would be quick to point out how productive he was earlier on in the year, but the longest goal streak that Laine had was 3 games this season. Now, sure, he had scored 5 goals in those 3 games, but that was the one stint where he was over 3 games in a row with a goal. The other 2 stints were separate, 1-1, 1-1, and it really does look a lot worse when you think about Laine's goal production and you just lay it out on paper that, hey, he only had 2 separate multi-goal streaks of 2 games each this calendar year in 2025. But when you consider the fact that it has been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games for Laine without a point, games where he's not going out there and shooting the puck on goal, and every single one of these games he is either a 0 or a -1 or -2, it really becomes obvious that this guy's offensive productivity has fallen off a cliff. And Marty St. Louis has responded in coordinates. Hey, the guy has not been playing as much as he was in the past. He went from getting 20 minutes in a 5-4 victory over the Rangers, wherein he did score himself a goal, to 10 minutes against the Lightning just a few weeks later, and then 11 minutes against LA, 12 against New Jersey, 11 minutes again versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. This guy's offensive deployment fell off alongside of his productivity. And a lot of Canadiens fans would say, yeah, it's deserved. The guy's not looking motivated. He's not looking like the dangerous sniper he was. He's fumbling plays. He's not back-checking. He's not playing hard when he doesn't have the puck. And this is where we dive into the comments that Laine made himself earlier yesterday heading into the Four Nations. This tweet was posted by Anthony Martineau. Patrik Laine said this passive-aggressively, "For sure, playing a lot of minutes here with this team will help me. That hasn't happened often recently. He then tempered it, mentioning that he was wrong, and sometimes that he has to look himself in the mirror. "It's hard sometimes," he said. And this tweet had 27,000 views. A lot of people going out there and replying, saying, okay, Patrik, come the freak on, man. I mean, let's go out there and read some of these replies. Laine is a superstar, but if you are crap, always have been, always will be. Score, and we won't be disgusted with you, but score. I'm looking forward to seeing him make defensive retreats for his country, so I'm looking forward to seeing him back-checking. It's only when you play well that you get minutes, not the other way around. Laine should stop talking, this reply says. It seems to me that every time he talks, he makes his case worse. Man, it's not necessarily throwing hands here. It can be easily self-mockery too. Both are possible, but we have to stop constantly throwing oil on the fire case. For once, we have a real star. And I wanted to put this thought out there into the world. Because Laine did make the comments a little bit tongue-in-cheek, and he is quick to give himself accountability in the situation. Hey, I haven't been playing all too well either. I'm in the wrong here. But as Martineau points out, passive-aggressively, he says, yeah, I haven't been getting a lot of playing time recently. Now, sure, there's an element of mockery in that, like he's joking around about the situation, but there were a good chunk of Habs fans that responded to this in a negative way, saying things like, wait a minute, Laine, really? Like, you're gonna joke around about that? And I do think that some of the, let's just say, response was misguided in a way, because I think there was an earlier post on Twitter of this same Laine comment that did not include the final two sentences of his answer, like, oh, playing a lot of minutes here with Team Finland will help me. That hasn't happened often recently. Yeah, yada yada, like, that doesn't really fit at all. That feels terrible when you look at it like that, if you don't acknowledge that he did take accountability for what he has been doing wrong on the ice. Because really, like, you can't say that anything that he mentioned in this, holistically at least, is incorrect. I mean, yeah, getting played more with Team Finland, it's probably going to help him. Getting more into the groove and being allowed to navigate the ice a little bit more, yeah, that's probably going to help him too. It's difficult because in Montreal, his expectations have not been fulfilled at all the past few weeks, so having some sort of a tongue-in-cheek reply dissing Marty St. Louis for not playing him often enough, that does not feel good for a lot of Canadiens fans who don't get the full context. Now, sure, even with the full context, I still think that the comments are a little bit brash. Not like the worst thing in the world, but he is still kind of throwing some shade on the situation with Montreal. But ultimately, he is a guy whose contract does not expire until next year. So we have a long time to figure this out for Patrik Laine and his entire Montreal Canadiens run here. That is, of course, unless he gets bought out in the summer, which we did already make a video about, and we can go out there and explore that path when it approaches us. But anyways, to end off this video, I also wanted to go over some comments made by Finnish head coach Antti Pennanen on Patty Laine and the situation at hand. He's had some significant difficulties recently, that's true, but we spoke to him yesterday and we feel that he is excited to be here. We put him with Hintz and Aho, who are two fast players, and we hope it clicks. And you know what? I'll say, in an ideal world, this works really, really well. Because Laine, for as much of a heavy sniper that he is, the guy just doesn't move his feet as often as he should. He's like Juraj Slafkovsky out there. So playing him with Aho and Hintz, who are two speedsters who can absolutely pounce on the puck out of nowhere, yeah, that's definitely going to help out Laine, especially with a guy like Aho playing out of his mind with his playmaking setups and Hintz opening up the right lanes by activating new threats and new lanes. There's a lot of intrinsic detail that can make this line effective and that can reignite some sort of Patrik Laine offensive surge. But the thing is, I think a lot of people are forgetting that this tournament has so many other players around the league that are trying to exhibit similar things against some of the top defensemen in the world. Like, yes, it's good to say Laine is going to be great, but like, he's playing off against Cale Makar, Adam Fox, Rasmus Dahlin, like, it's not going to be easy, even though the line mates that he's playing with are some of the best he's ever played with before. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel Patrik Laine is going to do at this Four Nations tournament, and what are your thoughts on his comments? Do you think it was a subtle diss to Martin St. Louis, and do you think these comments are vindicated? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.